Well, we're just gonna roll with it.
Turn it up just for
I got high and
10
fucked
seconds.
up. I got high and fucked up. Anyone else out there right now high and fuck up? It's okay.
Intro starting now.
This is life. Episode 22. Will, $100 cash if you can name this band without anything.
If he doesn't know this,
Dead Cassette.
Fuck.
oh, you got $100.
I got $100.
Jake Simon's got to pay you the 100.
That's some bullshit.
It's for all the charges of Amazon.
Just still losing.
I can't tell when you walk away. So colors from your eyes, just like a season change. Say I'm only out for something different. Maybe I should learn my lesson. Hold these close, he said. Don't ever let me go. Let me go. Tell me if forever comes alive.
I feel like our intro always sets the tone for the episode.
Wow.
And this episode is to let you know if you fuck up, it's going to be okay. You just keep going.
I really appreciate that, Bobby.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
was looking at you when I was talking about this.
I feel really good about myself now.
Hey, that's Dead Cassette. Hey, that's Dead Cassette. They're one of my favorites, if you can't tell. I've been playing them a lot.
I know
on
you
here.
play them a lot on your TV at home, too.
Something about this song, Will, we finally figured out what it reminds me of. Just a touch from Mom and Ashes.
Touch then, and just like the metalcore riff going, it just takes you back, kind of the same way Wrong Turn did on the last episode of the early 2000s.
Actually,
Yeah.
a great shot. Give me a little early 2000s vibe that we're always talking about. So, Fright Night, episode 22. Jake Simons, did you ever think we'd be 22 episodes in? Like, don't shoot me
did.
straight. Did you
I
think?
did.
Did you think we'd quit?
No, at no point did I think we would be quitting on doing this.
I like that. That's a good answer. Will, did you think we'd be 22 episodes in?
I did.
Really?
I knew Jake, like you said, he doesn't stop. He just keeps going.
Yes.
And
Sorry about that.
there was no one more passionate about these movies than Jake.
I'm annoyingly passionate. Apparently so passionate that I'm getting a bad rep from both of you.
Honestly, fuck me, fuck Will. The comments below, everyone's loving you.
Everything we
thank
said about the
you.
footnotes, everyone else has disagreed with.
I agree.
It's good to know. Thank you
I
very
think-
much.
I think
I'm sure that will influence me
The
moving
viewers
forward.
of the show and the listeners are on Jake Simon's side. They actually literally do say fuck Will. And they just ignore me at this point.
They don't ignore you. They love you, Bobby.
That's fair. I'm just so kidding. Okay, a couple housekeeping things here. Let's get into a little bit of the Smoke Blackcraft merch. And I got a little announcement to make today. Who we're gonna be having a real sponsor. Well, we've been having real sponsors, but we're gonna be having a sponsor for the whole month, starting next month.
Ooh, are
You guys don't even know this.
I
That was
don't
my
know
next
this, but
question.
I'm
I was
very
like, do
curious.
we know?
No, nobody knows.
Is
Wait,
this something
why-
I should have known?
Why
but I
won't,
forgot?
shit.
why won't you tell us?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now.
okay.
And taking it back to Wrong Turn, even though we all three lights off, gave it the lights off.
Sorry, wrong turn.
The relatability of where we grew up, right? And we're talking about Dead Cassette, right, Will, for us? Jake Simons. Mm-hmm. Guess who our sponsor is for next month?
Actually, I don't know. I couldn't even begin to tell you who it is.
It's a store and they have a chain. They got about 30
Oh,
some
fuck, I
30
do know
plus
this.
30 plus locations.
I don't know.
The
I know.
Exchange.
Oh, shit.
You really genuinely did not know this.
No,
huh?
I didn't. What? Dude, that's like my late teens to early college years.
Yes.
Right there. Going through vinyls and CDs and finding all these cool like UK trip hop stuff and just exposing myself to bands that no one. I'm getting excited about it. Sorry.
So you know how we always talk about manifestation and energy and all those things. This is an interesting one because I know all three of us grew up going to the Exchange. So if you live in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, PA, there's about 30 plus stores where we will be sold. The Smoke Blackcraft merch is going to be there. The Blackcraft Cult merch is going to be there. Comment below if you know the Exchange. If you know the Exchange, just leave the Exchange.
Dude, I easily went to the Exchange in Robinson Township at least 100 times in my life.
So this is where I'm talking about the manifestation and the energy. What do we play every show? Unsigned bands. Why? Because I'm always looking to find new unsigned bands.
Absolutely.
Where I got into this, and everyone's favorite band is unsigned, right? And all these different things. was there was a genre of music that Will and I grew up loving together. You and I really bonded over these different artists. So what I would do is I'd find these super obscure bands, and I know Will would too, and I could never find their CDs. The Exchange would have them. I don't know how, but the Exchange would. That's how I found, that's how I discovered so many art. Dog Fashion Disco that comments all the time on our shit.
Yeah.
I love that band. I grew up loving that band. I found their album at the Exchange.
I remember. I was there, I think.
When I got Dog Fashion
I have
Disco?
not thought about that band in forever. Like, if you
Love
would have
that
said it
band.
here, it might not have entered my head again, but I forgot.
Bro,
all
they
about
popped
them.
up on our Twitch show. I gotta look something up.
Are you
Do you
serious?
remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember Dave's Music Mine in the South Side?
Kind of.
I remember going. Your dad would take us there. We didn't go very
I
often.
do.
But
I
it
do
was
remember
all
that. I
music,
do remember
and the
that. Yep.
reason I love the
Yep.
Exchange so much, it was that in every single store, but it wasn't just like the music and vinyl, because I was super into video games and everything else.
Yeah.
too, and they had everything. It was just
I
like
think
a bigger selection.
I think the reason why I love the Exchange so much
Holy
is
shit.
I knew what.
I found the album, the Dog Fashion Disco album. 9 to 5 at the Morgue. It was the song that I would listen to all the time.
That's sick.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh no, you're good. I think if I couldn't find what I was looking for at FYE, remember FYE?
Of course.
Like if I
Still
couldn't
around.
if I couldn't find it there, I knew I was going to find it at the Exchange.
Yeah, so exciting thing. So we'll be in all locations with the Smoke Blackcraft things. Before I show off the merch, Will, you got my brain going. I want to play Dog Fashion Disco 9 to 5 at the Morgue.
I need a little refresher.
Tell me if you remember this. Yep. Do you?
The pale white walls, 9 to 5,
So
day
sick.
after day, I feel no more alive.
Are they playing an
That
organ?
lies the table before me. Wake up too early to twist the key. Stumble on into the master coffin. For my bed, a warm black existence. Within the pale white walls, 9 to 5, day after day, I feel so cold inside. Like the stiff that lies the table before me. Wake up too early to twist the key. Stumble on into
Do you remember that, Will?
I do, and not that the two bands sound anything remotely similar, but also just like mindless self-indulgence.
Oh,
just
of course.
popped into my
American
head,
Head Charge,
also,
all those kind of
Oh,
bands.
I remember mindless self-indulgence.
Yep.
Shit.
So shout out to the Exchange. But I do want to show off some of the Smoke Blackcraft gear
Please
too.
do.
I do want to talk about. Hey, I'm gonna let Dog Fashion Disco play in the background.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great episode. This is gonna be a fun one. So we got the staple joggers.
Oh, nice and soft. 80% cotton, 20% polyester.
Nice, thanks, Jake.
I know this shit like the back of my hand.
Sleep paralysis shirt.
100% cotton, pre-shrunk.
Thank you, Jake. My favorite hoodie we got. I'm wearing it currently. Higher Spirit.
Oh,
Jake, do the honors.
80% cotton, 20% polyester.
Are these all accurate?
Is this real?
Yes,
Or you
these,
know,
these,
just
these
like
are
that?
all.
Yeah, okay.
I've been working for Blackcraft for 9 years.
And I feel like it's
All
gonna
right,
be
Jake
the same
Simons, if you
description.
could tell me what this shirt name is,
Oh shit!
Will has to take a full bat gummy.
Shit.
If you get it wrong,
He's
you
not
got to
gonna
take
get-
the full
I'm
bat
safe.
gummy.
And guess
Deal
what?
or
None
no
of us
deal?
had a choice in this at all.
Yeah,
it's
you
kind
don't.
of fucked up. Reaper Harvest.
Correct.
Are you serious? I mean, the image was pretty
How the
self-explanatory.
fuck did you know that, Jake? Well, you did the website.
That's Lilith.
Little Lilith. Mm-hmm. These are all at smokeblackcraft.com right now. Use code Reaper. Get a little discount.
Oh, dark, sinister. Actually, I don't know what that one's called.
This shit makes me want to start a cult and start smoking weed.
You already started a cult.
And I already smoke weed.
Well, there you go.
We're all good. All that stuff right there is at smokeblackcraft.com. Use code Reaper. And yeah, I'm excited for the exchange, man. I thought this is a big deal. I'm exciting. I just talked to one of the head buyer over there. His name's Richie. Shout out Richie. He loves the podcast. Big
Really?
horror fan.
Oh, man.
Richie, this whole episode dedicated to you today.
All I'm starting to realize, this podcast just makes me homesick a little bit.
I'm telling you, dude.
It does.
I'm telling you,
That's
man.
our. This is our therapy. We're just trying to reconnect with our roots while we're doing this.
I'm telling you, man. I just want to get back to my roots. So, and thank you to all of the listeners. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to all the supporters. Thank you to all the Smoke Blackcraft supporters. Thank you to all the Blackcraft cult supporters. Thank you to everyone who bought gummies. This has been the best month of my entire existence. And Will, you couldn't have said it any better, man. I want to get back to my roots. I love that. I feel like, you know, in these past couple of years, I definitely, I don't even know the words I'm looking for, but I need grounded and you know, doing this show with you guys has been great because it's totally reminding me of back home, which makes me so excited, and I'm so stoked.
And if this happens to be your first episode with Fright Night, me, Will, and Bobby all grew up together in a little town called Avella, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
so.
go Google Avella, PA if you're new here. If you're new,
you won't find much. But
do we remember what the population was?
like
it was like
people.
It was like 700 something people.
Yeah.
We graduated a class of 40, 50 kids.
I could not.
We knew
like,
everybody's first and last name from grade 7 through 12.
It's funny, you know, as you're growing up, you just want to get the fuck out of there. But looking back on it and sitting here where we are now, it's like I'm so grateful to be there. I'm telling you, you know, I do want to talk about our goals and visions a little bit. You know, I think we should go through that. And I think that's important.
I would love to do that.
We should do that today. We should have a little discussion here. And if you're listening, and write down 3 of your goals for the year. We should do some short-term goals, long-term goals. Will's like, fuck, I didn't do my homework.
I already have one goal, and it's the same goal that you share.
Tell me.
I think a great way to reconnect with our roots is by starting a film production company and doing maybe our first film in an area that seems weirdly familiar to us.
In Avella, PA. So that's a big goal of mine. Us three. I know you share that same goal. We've all three discussed that already. That is a big goal. Blackcraft Films coming. I don't know when. Soon.
It's going to manifest.
It's going to manifest. But I'll tell you a big goal of mine, and I think it's very important to my soul. Mm-hmm. Is, you know, I have a lot of land back in PA. You guys know the land that we got, and a big goal of mine is I want to go build like a retreat house back there. So we live here, but then, you know, my goal is to manifest a house back on my property back in PA, where it's like, I don't want to say it's like it is my dream house, right? It's going to have a gym. It's going to have, you know, the saunas. It's going to have a really nice kitchen and like a big room where we just go work. Like we just go get creative. We go fucking film out of there. This is where we work on the horror movie at. That's the goal. Avella
is actually a great town to just like visit for a week if you think
Dude,
about it.
I'm telling you right now, when I go back to visit my daughter and I stay out on that property, it really was this last trip home, coming off of the Champs trade show and going into the Smoke Blackcraft side of things, that I'm like, holy shit, am I really inspired here? Usually I'm not. It's all about how you look at things. But usually when I went back there, I never looked at it this way. But now I'm so inspired, and it's getting back to those roots. It's weird.
When we first started talking about this, I was going to say the short trips, like back home, and then literally everything you just said right there too. But I remember like. There's something about the fall time there, because when I first permanently moved out, like obviously been coming out here for years. I've been living here. Like I made the full move about 6-7 months ago. But the day that I left, like I remember I got up. It was like 4:30 a.m. I walked out and I could just feel fall. And that was the only part of it. I was like, fuck, why couldn't this be a January move?
Bro, it's fall. Yeah, fall's the best vibe ever. You don't want to miss fall on the East Coast.
Some fall.
So yeah, let us know what some of your goals are in the comments below. What else we got? What else is a big goal this year? What else would you say is a big goal personally? Go ahead, Jake.
Strange Kids performing live. I hit the first.
Well, that's already happening. You're doing that.
No, it's a goal, but it's a goal that is achieved.
It's a goal. It's a goal that you're putting out there to show you manifested that shit. You made it happen.
I'm really excited.
Will?
I want to get like whether it's the movie thing, whether it's some other clothing thing, where I want to do at least 3 other things that like I want to like short-term goals for this business. Obviously, it's building some stuff out. We have those there, and we're not going to talk about all that.
The Smoke Blackcraft stuff. Yeah.
But as soon as we get this thing rolling, I want to branch. I want to have at least 3 more kind of. Don't want to say source of income, like that would be a goal for him, but 3 other things that I'm working on like passionately and I part time on and just cruising with by the end of the year.
I like that. It's funny. So my goal is going to be, it's going to kind of go against your goal in a way, but it's going to work together in the long term here. So my goal this year is to really focus on one thing. And do it really. This is just me personally, right? For me, it's to do one thing really fucking great. Not really good, but do it really fucking great. Because there's so many times where I'm on calls. Oh, this is doing really good. I'm like, okay, but really good and really great to me are 2 different fucking things. Like even the call, that we had a little bit earlier today. They're like, oh, this is going really good. I'm like, well, really good don't mean really great in my eyes, at least. Maybe it does.
Good point.
So. My goal this year is to really, on the Smoke Blackcraft side, I think everyone is pretty damn well aware that that's my little baby at this point. I really want to, we've made some of the biggest headway, I would say, ever in the smoke industry to come out. I would put money up. I gamble all the time. I would bet there's been no smoke brand to just launch in the past 60 days to do what we were able to do. Now, shout out our amazing partners over at Delta Extracts and Tubes and some major wholesalers that are picking us up right now. I mean, shout out. But I don't want to get comfortable, right? So this year, I really want to disrupt the smoke industry.
I want to add one more goal to your goal.
Go ahead.
I want to finish this damn screenplay.
That's a great goal. That's a great goal.
Or at least get majority of it finished
I think
by the
get
end
majority
of
it written, and have
we got
it.
We got a great idea.
We have a great fucking idea. I think we could get it to a place where it's good, and then we'll work on making it really fucking great. Fair?
Very fair.
But to your point, those other three income things, I think we could all set them up right now to be in a position to where they're good.
Yeah.
Not great, because you got to go all fucking in to make it work. I've realized that. Has anyone else noticed that?
No, it's having those other things in the periphery. I
Yes.
feel like to
Yes.
work on. Obviously, you smoke Blackcraft. That's the baby.
Yes,
that's
this is
where
the
all our
baby right
energy's
now.
going. That's where all the weekends are going. That's where all the free time is going.
Yep.
As soon as you get momentum there and having your hands on a couple other things, and I think too, I'm saying adding 3 things. You always have about 30 things going on.
Yeah.
So that trimming down and really nurturing stuff like this,
Dude.
I think,
Because I could do 30 things okay, So imagine what I could do with one thing and to be really fucking great. Shout out our whole team at Blackcraft Cult for holding it down. Shout out my partner Jim over there, Kirsty, whole team, Jake Simons, for making it great. Cindy, everyone over there, right? John, everyone.
We love you all.
Raul, fucking Raquel, list goes on, So, but yeah, very grateful. But I'll tell you what, one of our goals this year was the podcast, and it's fucking doing great. And here we are staring at a screen called The Outwaters, the official trailer. 574K views on the trailer 2 months ago. I'll talk about
Wait.
it.
When was
My
this
nose is
released?
itchy.
I looked at research. It said 2022, but I think it's been making its heavy rounds this past couple of 3 months.
Yeah. That
But-
is a fear of mine, by the way.
What?
Well, two. I have 2 fears, and one of them lives in this movie, which I'll get to a little later.
Ooh.
And the first fear would be putting out a movie and no one fucking sees it, and then it catches wind 4 years later, and people are like, this is 4 years old. Is that a thing? Does that happen?
I don't know how
I'm
realistic.
sure at some point
Yeah.
it's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of a reference right now. though.
Maybe I don't care.
I mean,
though.
there's got to be a ton. Well, I know a lot of things that are ahead of their time that people kind of passed on, and
Yeah.
there's, it always gets that cult following, and then after that, that
We could always get that cult following.
That is true. So let's dive down this here, episode 22, Fright Night. If you're listening, don't forget we are also on YouTube, Blackcraft Call channel. This will be our 4th video at this point. So come find us on there, and if you're watching, you could also find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, everywhere, iHeartRadio. So we're here talking about the Outwaters 2023, 2022. We don't really know. I think it's 2022. Jake, you wanna do a little introduction here on who it's starring here? Let's dive into this one, because this one, I think a lot of people feel a certain way about this, but luckily Jake Simons has some theories, and I'm excited to dive down. So
Jake's going to bring us home on this one.
Yeah,
I
he is.
watched this one. Starring Robbie Oh, by the way, we're not going to Death by Spoilers yet. Never mind.
No.
Starring Robbie Banfitch, Angela Besolis, sorry if I say these names wrong, Scott Schammel, Michelle May, and Leslie Ann Banfitch. Directed, written, produced, edited, and scored by Robbie Banfitch. The movie length is 110 minutes long, so we're under the 2-hour mark.
Long though.
It's long, but it's under the 2-hour mark. And then we got a Rotten Tomato score. The critic score is 72% and 51% audience score. So we have a higher score from the critics and a more polarizing score from the audience. I don't know how accurate this is. This is all I could find online. But as far as the budget, all I could find is it was a $15,000 budget. We don't know what the
box office
it is, because it's an indie film, so really don't know those projections. But it is currently streaming for free on Screambox.
It's streaming for free on Screambox, baby.
Streaming for free. Whoopsie. On Screambox, which is a new platform that I downloaded, and I think it's $4.99 on Amazon if you want to rent it. So
It is.
So Amazon has multiple or
Amazon
outlets
just
now?
runs the fucking world.
Yeah.
I think you got Shudder. That's kind of also under
Shutter.
Amazon.
Shutter.
as
That's
well.
the one I'm thinking of.
I got Shudder.
Yeah,
that is through Amazon also too.
Yeah.
But I actually unsubscribed from Shudder on the Amazon side. I actually, if you are interested, and you are going to sign up for Shudder, I would sign up for Shudder on your own. With through their app, because the discoverability I feel like was a little bit better.
Oh, really?
I thought so.
Well,
I
that's
have to
good
be
to know.
signed up for so many of those.
Bro, I literally
have no idea.
I literally spend $1,000 a month on apps. At this point.
I
do.
need to download an app to tell me where my money is going on all these streaming apps.
40% of my income, I feel like, is going to these.
70 for me. I know I have fucking 6 Netflix accounts right now. I know, so just because I forget a password.
I should
know
probably deep dive into my finances here.
Yeah, now I got anxiety. All right, fuck. Moving on. Sorry if you're listening. We're causing anxiety on your morning here.
Yeah.
Your favorite part, Jake? Death by spoilers. I
feel like a lot of people have not seen this movie yet because it's very new. So if you have not seen this movie, please go watch it first before we go into the movie, because there's a lot to dissect here. There's a lot to talk about. There's definitely going to be some spoilers. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go watch it and then come back and see what your thoughts are.
Should we like timestamp the Death by spoilers just so like
start stamping it?
Yeah.
no.
No. Okay.
Because if you're listening, you would know.
Just wondering.
What kind of
I
audience
guess
do you think we
don't want
want?
to make it easy for them.
It's fair. It's fair. Just
Gotta
an
give them
idea.
a little bit of challenge.
Fair. And also, I mean, if you skip through, you're going to find out stuff anyway. So what's the point?
True.
I'm not here to spoon feed people.
You said
All
that's
right.
so convincing. All right, Jake. The time is yours, buddy. Death by spoilers.
Okay, work with me on these footnotes, by the way. All right, so Fright Night footnotes. We are immediately presented a recording of a 911 call in which we hear screaming and mania occurring in the background with no compliant communication taking place. We are then told via text that 3 separate film cards were recovered from the Mojave Desert. We are then introduced to brothers Robbie and Scott, played by Robbie Banfitch and Scott Schammel, as they celebrate Scott's birthday, as well as Michelle August, played by Michelle May, as she is recording a personal song that brings forth reminiscing memories of her late mother. Finally, we are introduced to Angela Bacuzzi, played by Angela Basolis, who shares friendships with the others and shows support as they plan a trip to the desert to film Michelle's music video, all while experiencing fairly intense earthquakes before their departure. But as they reach their destination and set up their camping ground, they begin experiencing strange booming sounds and distortions in the distance with no clear visuals to explain its origins. The next day, Robbie makes a few discoveries, such as an abandoned hatchet in the ground and a very strange feedback sound under the Earth's soil. But after Michelle's video shoot, we enter the second night at camp, in which Robbie notices a man in silhouette holding a hatchet in the distance. And within seconds, we are thrown into an all-out attack with little visuals to discern, but sound effects galore describing the violent horrors and havoc taking place. We are then, in a cosmic and hallucinatory fashion, subjected to bloody bodies, a delirious Robbie with head trauma, little intestine-like snakes, linear flashing lights, a killer who looks exactly like Robbie, reoccurring encounters with a terrified Angela, and a haunting visual of his mother in a bloody state. But nothing compares to a truly horrifying monster that feels like it was transported on Earth from another realm. But as Robbie begins noticing a strange time loop is occurring, such as seeing himself and his friends from a previous day, he becomes trapped in a state of purgatory between a suffocating dark hell and a starry-like void that may represent a possible escape. Meanwhile, discovering restricted signs, gas mask, and rifle bullets, we begin understanding something else may be at play here and may suggest possible nuclear involvement. Nothing is clear until Robbie comes across all 3 of his friends' severed heads and placed on wood poles, and we are left with Robbie disemboweled, self-mutilated, and reaching towards the sky as credits roll.
Very well said.
Yeah, it took me a while to write that out.
You know, before we jump into the campfire story theories, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go on record and say I think I'm going to have to go back and watch this movie probably 2 or 3 times. I don't know if anyone else agrees.
Well, I felt like my opinion, like how I was feeling about the movie changed about 100 times throughout. And
Yes.
it's kind of reiterated by how concise and well this was done.
Well,
but
thank you
also
very much.
Very well done.
how long the movie actually was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to get into theories here, Jake Simons?
Let's talk about this movie. First off, found footage. We know its influences while we're watching it. We're spent with the first 40 or 50 minutes with character development. We're getting to know these characters, and there's really no, signs of what we're about to get ourselves into in the first half of this film.
No, I got a feeling right off the jump where they were going to go film a music video. Mm-hmm. They showed earthquakes a couple times, which I did not really understand that.
I don't know if there is an actual theory behind it, but if I had to think of a theory, I'm thinking maybe it's a representation of the nuclear grounds that took place near LA in the desert or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Did that actually happen?
What?
There were actually nuclear grounds near.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
But in the movie. But
yeah.
So, movies opens up the relatability of Los Angeles when earthquakes and people shoot music videos in desert.
Sounds pretty spot on.
Very very Coachella vibes, Burning Man feel. I was a little confused. I like the feeling. I like the relatability though, right? Because now you're gearing up. I've been to Coachella a million times. I've lived in LA. I know the exact characters that they're building. I know exactly who these people are, like the video guy, the artist. I could go on my phone, name 50 of these people right now.
But they're also friends with each other too as well.
And I know all that, which is great. It kind of reminds me of us to some degree, right? And I know the desert, right? I know that vibe. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was very well captured. And then from there, I kind of had an idea where it was going, but I didn't know where it was going.
So a little bit of context. I actually ended up watching this movie by myself the night before because I really just wanted to see what the experience was like as by myself with the lights off, with the headphones on. And I think after watching it the second time and doing a little bit of research of the movie as well, it started making a lot more sense, and it actually started making me really kind of appreciate it even more the second time around.
Yeah.
If that, you know what I mean?
Well, you said you took an edible too, watching that, and that movie on an edible, I feel like would be hell.
Had to be
that
crazy.
last 40 minutes, man, on an edible.
Yeah, had to be insane here. So I liked it. The villain protocol, how would you even really dive down this?
This is a very abstract style film, so it's really hard to pinpoint what kind of villain we're dealing with. I do know, and I guess we can dissect a little bit of what the theories are. We think what possibly happened is they walked into a specific zone on Earth where things like big, massive explosion, nuclear stuff, sounds took place, and this is one of the theories that I was looking into online that made a little bit sense to me.
Reddit? Is this down Reddit?
I think this was on Reddit, and they were stating that they entered a old nuclear site, and this nuclear site supposedly created a tear in the current dimension and put them in an ongoing time loop of the night where shit goes to hell. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And this is one of my biggest fears. When I talked at the beginning episode, I said I have two biggest fears. One of my biggest fears is dying and getting stuck into a loop. That's my biggest fucking fear. Or getting
terrifying
so
idea.
fucking high like we do, and you're never going to come back to normal.
Yeah.
That's such a fear.
I don't
of
do
mine.
that anymore.
That
at all.
Dude,
that one
it's
to me, it's not there.
It's
one
there
doesn't
for
even
me.
creep in.
So the relatability of this shit is there for me.
I would say villain, we do get a couple of glimpses of things that are occurring in the dark. One of them being which we end up finding out later is actually Robbie himself. So we got the figure with the hatchet. So when we're first, put into the night, it would be night 2. We think this is just a man with a hatchet.
Some psychopath
Killing it. That's the first grasp. So we're dealing with, okay, this is the villain. We got a guy with a hatchet. But then the movie so quickly, within 5 minutes, goes into such a strange, cosmic type,
loop. It's a loop.
Visual. You only hear sounds. And, I heard people, it's hard to see what's going on in this movie, but if you really think about it, if you're in the middle of the desert, everybody knows how dark it gets in the desert. You're not going to see much outside of the light that you're provided anyways. So the approach of only seeing a little bit here and there in what almost looks like a pin-sized light hole, it makes sense. That's how he's experiencing that night going on.
It also throws a lot at you. You see the guy with the axe. They start getting caught in the time loop. They're covered in blood. You're like, all right, there's a killer here. Then there's worm creatures.
Yes.
Then there's a monster.
Yes. And the monster, we never fully see exactly how this monster is constructed, but they did a good job making it feel like it's this massive thing, and I really can't wait to go into ominous frequencies with this movie. By the way,
no, I agree here. So the villain protocol though, so it's Robbie.
It's technically Robbie, but there's something very cosmic and trippy going on as well.
Kind of like Interstellar.
It's Interstellar.
Enter fucking another dimension, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. I love that movie, by the way.
Me too,
I think
man.
that's a great movie.
So the protagonist survival guide here: personality, strengths, weaknesses, relatability, survival.
Let's talk about the group. Let's talk about it as a whole, because we don't. This is not a typical final girl situation when it comes to horror films. I actually really related to this cast. They did a great job feeling authentic. Nothing felt forced.
Well, didn't you say that these were all friends?
I believe so. I believe they were friends, but you can tell by their communication with one another that these people know each other already. And let's just say by chance they don't know each other. Before this movie, they did a good job portraying.
A great fucking job.
Yeah, they did a great job. Nothing felt forced. You know, I noticed here when I was going through their cast, it looked like it said Leslie Ann Banfitch. So I'm assuming that might be his actual mom.
Oh, cool.
I think that's really sick, having a family member like partake in your like kid's movie. I don't know if that's like mom or sister or anything like that, but I thought that was really cool.
I did too.
But I thought the dynamic between the group of friends was really solid. What are your thoughts on the group of people?
Relatability for me. That's if I either like something or don't like something when we're talking group like this. As long as it's relatable to me, I fuck with it.
I'm not gonna lie. The first 50 minutes reminded me of a trip I took with friends 3 years ago to Joshua Tree.
Yeah,
I was getting like really big, like Joshua Tree.
Looks like they shot this out by like Idlewild and stuff too.
Kind of. I am curious where the exact location was filmed, but yeah, I really do like these people in this movie. I think they're super relatable, convincing.
I think the found footage aspect of it too just really helps with how authentic it feels. You know, because it does feel like it's a home video. Like they nailed that part of it. And the scenes where it was shot was great. I loved everything up until it started going bad those last 40 minutes, except I didn't need it for an hour and 20 minutes, I felt like, for that part.
No, I get it.
No, I agree. But moving on to the ominous frequencies here.
I really want to
you gotta
deep dive into the sound design in this movie because I'm freaking obsessed with it.
I really think another thing while you deep dive the sound design here, we should talk about the $15,000 budget. Don't lose track that this is only on a $15,000 budget. So this sound design to do it how they did it, I'm very curious. I'm guessing they did the music.
I think when I looked into it, I don't know if this is exactly true, but like when I looked into the credits, like the crew, it literally said directed, written, produced, edited, and scored by Robbie Banfitch.
And I believe that.
Believe that too.
That makes sense.
And what's really amazing about the sound design in this movie is that it's creating a scenario. It's telling a story just with the sound on its own, because we are so limited to what we're seeing on camera that the sound that you're hearing is creating the narrative for you, and it's done very effectively. And there's moments where you hear strange distortions in the voices. You hear what sounds like a war going on outside of their campground. You just hear booms,
like thunders,
but they don't see anything, but you just hear the sound. So, which is what makes sense with the time loop. They're hearing residual sound effects of like events that took place in previous years.
Makes sense.
So the sound design is amazing. I really love the sound design.
Back to it, every time I kind of felt, I don't want to say scared, like uneasy during that film, we usually had something to do with the sound. Like the scene where, like when shit starts going wrong, you see the dude with the axe, he kind of gets like attacked or whatever, but the camera's going nuts, but he comes back. When the girls are screaming that they just want their mom and stuff like that, like that's when it started feeling uneasy.
Oh yeah,
it was all sound.
It was very uncomfortable.
There was a lot of scenes.
It sounded like painful screaming. Like the acting and the way they use their voices, and nothing feels overacting. It feels very authentic. The screaming in the background, I like that they start off the movie with a 911 call.
Me too.
Because it gives you at least a little bit of an anticipation of what you're going to get involved in when shit hits the fan. But yeah, man, like the sound design is so good in this. I also like the selected songs they used in the movie too, when we're getting to know the characters and you just hear all this, what I'm assuming is independent artists or maybe people he's friends with or something like that. I really like the music that they're playing in the movie before we even get into the chaos.
And you know what else I like too? There was some really cool fucking shots of like the sun setting and like the lighting kind of, I don't know about more sun setting.
The shot where he's seeing the mirage of himself
that
from
was
like a different
crazy.
zone, like all in red.
Yes.
So that was a cool shot.
Yes.
I actually can't wait to get to the scenic route because I think there's one particular shot all of us really agreed on that was super sick.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Let's go into the death chart. This is going to be hard for us to dissect because obviously at the end of the movie, he discovers his friends' heads all decapitated and put on
sticks,
sticks or poles of some sort. Did that not give you like kind of like Cannibal Holocaust vibes?
We all said that. Yeah, Will said that.
And very gory, very violent. So yeah, it's for sure that 3 people died, but because of the whole theory that they're in a time loop, like, did they actually die, or is this part of his time loop? And that's what he, you know what I mean?
Well, they died somewhere.
They died somewhere for sure. Most of the kills, actually, every single kill is done off screen. So we don't really know exactly how they are killed, but like I said, the sound design does a good job portraying them as being killed horrifically.
And we keep talking about sound design. I want to give a shout out to the special effects, like with that devil creature and bloodiness and shit. I thought that's done when really, I was like, really well.
Yeah, with the $15K budget and then seeing that's when I was like, oh damn, for part of it. But what confused me a little bit was it felt like they would go see each other during different time loops or whatever, and they'd be interacting, and then sometimes it was like they couldn't. So I didn't really know if they were. Yeah, I didn't really know if they were in a time loop or not, or if that's just a theory. Because like, why wouldn't if I have a camera on me and I see Bobby there and he's covered in blood, we're gonna be shouting at each other, But there were sometimes where they're just like kind of like staring, and it's just like what's going on?
I had a huge disconnect from that too, and. Jake, I loved your theories because I think Will and I kept flip-flopping back and forth on this movie.
Yeah.
And if you don't really... That's why I'm saying I have to go rewatch this movie again. I really think there are some like loopholes here that I do not understand. And I don't... Did you have any answers for those kind of things?
I don't know
what your thoughts were?
I don't know if it's going to be an answer that you'll agree with, but I think what happened is that they all individually entered a different time loop. So the moments where you're like, why aren't they reacting more strongly once they reconnect with each other again? I personally think they're coordinating with somebody on a different night. So they don't know that they have experienced all these horrific things that took place 2, 3, 4 days later in the time loop.
They also don't know like the guys there next to him.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. And they may not notice him. Like I said, I don't necessarily I don't understand time loops in general or how it would scientifically work. But I feel like if there was parts in this world where there's like a weird influx of energy that just distorts all time in science, I would feel like there would just be nonstop confusion anyways. And there would just be no way of, really explaining why it's occurring.
It'd be pretty accurate to that movie.
No, I agree. Okay.
So, but yeah, we'll say 3 for sure on the death chart. All killed off the same way, heads on sticks.
I feel like 4 really.
4 technically, because I feel like Robbie's for sure at some point had to have died. He's definitely on his way out when we're talking about the final images of this movie, which is very full frontal.
I mean, vibe test would be a quick one here to run down favorite and least favorite character. I mean, lovable or disposable. I mean,
I liked them all.
Yeah, they're all relatable. They're all good. I mean, I didn't hate any of them. I loved them all.
I just felt like the main character, because he's the main character, he's got to be the favorite. And then the other 3, I could go with any of them all.
Well, I mean, that's how this movie was set up, right? I mean, Robbie did such a great job, I think. But
I'm going to pick one.
What?
I'm going to pick Robbie. I'm assuming is his actual mom, because I just think it's so freaking cool that she was on board with this.
I back that. I fully support it.
I don't even know if it's his mom, but when I see the last name Banfitch, I'm like, Leslie Ann might be his mom. So I'm just going to say she's my favorite. Let's go into the scenic route. Favorite visual or favorite scene or camera shot, location, dialogue.
I think it's all the same on the favorite scene.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's the running upside down scene.
After, I think, what was her name again? I'm sorry.
There's no cooler scene.
Michelle.
This might be the coolest scene I've ever seen in a movie.
It's
effective.
Fucking cool and effective. It's artsy, but like not really in a pretentious way. It's just really cool. And it's weird. I feel like I'm seeing some of his influences in some of these scenes where with the cinematography.
A24 vibes.
A24 vibes. And maybe even early 2000 indie films as well. Like I'm getting like
Blair Witch.
Like I'm getting Darren Aronofsky vibes too as well with the cinematography. But yeah, that scene where it's upside down and it looks like he's reliving the day of the video shoot, but time is distorted. So she's the version after she's murdered,
because she's laying down,
but she's still that they're reliving that.
Fuck.
I thought that was so cool, and how he's just running after her. You just
it just loops.
It just loops, and you so badly just want him to catch her. That feels like a dream to me.
That feels like
it's like a dream sequence.
Yeah, 100%.
Like imagine you ever had a nightmare where you are like just stuck in a darkness and you see like some sort of like. That's what it felt like during that.
Legit,
I mean, you have the ones
where
you just keep like waking up and it just keeps starting over and over. Yeah, 100% felt like that dream state.
Why do you think we have a shirt named Sleep Paralysis?
Yeah. Oh God, sleep paralysis is the worst.
You've had it?
Yeah, I've only had it like twice in my life, but the 2 times I had it, I vividly remember those nights,
hell.
and it's freaking hell.
Oh,
it is hell.
It was one when I was living with Jim in Tustin,
yeah,
and it was a 3-hour fucking long night. It was 3 hours. I could not move. It was terrifying.
What is sleep paralysis fully? Like, is it your body like trying to be awake?
Don't know.
Does something come and get you in the middle of the night?
I think there's theories about it, but I don't think anyone really knows.
Yeah, I'd like to dive down.
I had
the
it
sleep
once, man,
paralysis
during
theory.
the day, during a nap, and like I could see my buddy on the couch next to me. I was just trying to get his attention because you think
you're like, wake up,
over you or whatever, and I just kept restarting the sleep paralysis. And I mean, I don't know how long it went on, but it felt like
I shared on an earlier episode. You have to check back. Can't remember what episode it was. Maybe it might have been when we did Hereditary. I was sharing about how I had a crazy outer body experience, sleep paralysis, where I got choked out. Ugh. It was the craziest. I'll tell it some other time, but
terrible.
But no, I mean, here, moving on here. So we all agree. Scenic route. I mean, that was our.
This one too.
That was our. Yeah, I love the drone.
We love
down
that
footage.
upside down shit.
Yeah,
like,
that shit was sick.
I really like that. I think he was like filmed when they were driving in the car, like up
so
the mountain.
Great.
But I thought it was so good.
So good. I mean, shout out for 15K. Like shout out to 15
right?
grand. I can't wait to know what this movie ends up doing at the box office.
This is what makes us inspired to want to do Blackcraft films, because it's like, man, this is like where you're like, if you're truly a creative person, you will make it work with whatever assets that you have.
Whatever it takes. I mean,
I think it'd be fun to pick this guy's brain just about how he did the. Like, I want to ask about the monster. Like, is that thing put together? Were they just like filming like some other stuff? I'm very
curious about that.
Me too.
Because I couldn't tell if they like were just went and made a bunch of stuff that looked kind of similar and shot parts of it, so you kind of connect in your head, or there really is like one big monster built. That makes sense?
Know what?
I don't know.
I do want to know that. I want to know how he did that
too. I want to know. I want to know a lot of things. I want to.
Now that you described it, was like, yeah, I kind of want to know if this is just like separate parts that he just filmed in a way to make it look like it's bigger, even though we're dealing with like a limited light space and stuff.
So we're here towards the end here. Lights on, lights off. So if it's your first time tuning in, lights on means you loved it.
Liked
you were
it.
Scared.
Creepy.
It was creepy. And if lights off, it means not good, boring, rough watch, felt too long, dragged, etc. Will, let's go with you. The floor is yours, buddy.
All right. There was a lot about like during this movie. It was so long that I flip flopped probably 100 times. On what I was feeling with the movie, and the more the days gone on, like the movie keeps popping back into my head, and I like it more. And there were some awesome ideas that I loved. That being said, I felt I felt like
Be careful what you say. You got Jake Simon staring at you.
I know this is gonna. It's like a weak fallout, you know.
okay.
If I
Why does everybody
All right.
paint me as this like?
I just felt like the very beginning, like I'm looking at it, would I recommend this to somebody, you know? And like, did I love it? Like there's one person I know, like one friend that would love this movie. The rest, I don't think I'd recommend. I just felt like the character building sequence, like it could have been cut by almost like 40 minutes or something like that. And then, you know, like the use of lighting and stuff, I get people complain. It goes back and forth. Personally, there was a lot I felt like I didn't know was going on. So just I'm going to go lights off with it. But there's still things I loved about the movie.
That's fair.
Don't get me wrong.
That's actually fair. Yeah. Jake?
Me.
Yeah, floor is yours, buddy.
So, I'm a huge fan of this movie. I really am. I love a movie that makes me think about it afterwards, even though I don't fully understand it. I love the idea of the time loop, the idea of them being in a different dimension of some sort, or there's a rip of time. One more visual I wanted to bring up. I love the starry part where it looks like he's in space.
Yeah,
I also wanted to bring that up. I think there was a lot of creativity put into this. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it even more the second time around. And when you deep dive into the theories that are going on online, it makes me appreciate even more.
Yep.
And this movie is extraordinarily experimental, especially when you reach the halfway point. So if you're someone who likes more, straightforward plots may not be your thing, but if you really are open-minded and want to give yourself a try at something very creepy, experimental and just downright bonkers, because this movie gets bonkers, I freaking would for sure recommend this movie to you. So I'm for sure going to give it a.
You had one job to make sure your light was
we're
plugged
professionals here.
in. One job to make sure your light was plugged in.
Plugged it. Why is it not
Raul's
working?
laughing.
You had one job.
I'm giving it a lights on.
Apparently not.
Find out what happened.
He had one job. There we go. Nice. So Jake, I think to add, I agree with both of you, right?
Yeah.
Here's my take. Now, Blunt Dads is listening, because every movie that Blunt Dads has recommended or loved, I have not liked. We find ourselves here again.
Oh, Blunt Dads.
So, I think I'm not the brightest guy in the world, and I do have ADD, so it's hard for me to follow along. If Jake Simons was not in the room watching this movie with me, I would have absolutely hated this movie, just being honest. Because I didn't understand it. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was very confused, right? The time frame, the length of the movie, way too long for me, personally. I think this movie, the theories that are out there, once Jake explained it to me, now I am very slow. So if Robbie, if you're listening, I'm very sorry. So bear with me here. Just bear with me, because I'm coming around. I just didn't understand what the fuck was going on. There were scenes that were too dark. I couldn't see shit. I was just very kind of like, I don't get it. But the moment I heard the theory about purgatory, and then you started showing, you're like, oh, bro, you see, now they're in hell right now. And then you could see the light, and they're trying to break through to go to heaven, or the light, or
the
whatever.
visual of the light in the tunnel and stuff like that, yeah.
And then I was like, is this on loop? Like, what is? I thought I was like fucking tripping.
I felt like Jake was like the tour guide for that.
Jake
movie.
was the tour guide for this movie, and I do think, Jake, if Robbie and the team over on the Outwaters has you as the tour guide for the audience score, I think this audience score honestly would be like 80 or 90%. I'm gonna be honest with you, because the audience score is kind of low.
Very nice of you to say.
No, I'm dead ass serious, dude. Because one of my biggest fears in life, not so much dying, it's about being stuck. Dude, I have this fear. So I've never had a movie like bring to life my fucking fear until now. And this movie did that. So the moment you told me that was the theory, and you're like, look, dude, they're in hell. Look, they're trying to, I'm like, holy fucking shit. This is the most genius movie I've ever seen. And I'm gonna be honest with you, besides Hereditary, on how much I fucking love Hereditary, I have not even this movie more so than Hereditary even. And that's me saying something here. I fucking have been thinking about this movie like before I went to bed. I dreamt about this movie. I had a nightmare.
Shit.
I woke up, fucking went to the gym. I thought about the movie. I went to the warehouse this morning to pack orders, thought about the movie. So it's kind of crazy how much this movie is really in my head. I think for me, this movie would have been a 12 out of 12 if it was a short film and he just went experimental as fuck. If it, borderline like, yo, we're shooting a video in the desert, you see the axe, boom, like he murders everybody, and it's just on a loop.
Yeah.
It's just on a fucking loop. That's what I wish, personally.
I agree with that, because like the pace of the beginning is what made me keep checking in, checking out, checking in. And I don't know, like I'm trying to think of one right now, and I cannot think of a movie that has lost me and then reeled me back in like that.
I cannot name one. So for me, Jake, it's easy.
Oh, he'll go home happy today.
Oh, Will.
There we go.
Are you happy for me now?
I am. Well, I'm happy for all of us.
Lights on, Blunt Dads. Thanks for recommendation.
Thank you, Blunt Dads.
I do recommend anyone watching this movie
Go in it with an open mind.
Well, it's not even so much that. If you're listening to this at this point, and you didn't watch the movie yet, go back, watch it. If you watched it once and you hated it, go watch it again. I think you're going to love it. And watch it in mind. I'm looking at you, Raul, because I know you watched it once and you were a little confused by it too. Go into it with those theories. Because if you go into this movie with those theories, it's a fucking game changer. And this could be one of the coolest fucking movies to ever exist for $15,000.
I agree with you on that.
Fair?
Damn, I'm so happy you gave it a lights on.
Bro, I would not have lights on this movie if you were not with me. I'm just going to be completely honest with you.
It could be a very different discussion.
It would be a completely different discussion because I did not understand it.
So what comes along with being someone who's like obsessed with horror films is that if you don't understand it, you usually deep dive online to figure out why you're feeling a certain way about something.
Right.
And that's what I did with this movie on Saturday night was when I watched it.
You know what I love about the theories is I do this all the time with music, right? There's songs, there's song titles that I watch or I listen to, and I'm like literally to me, I make up my own stories in my head. Even though the song meaning, like you could Google song meaning, it's like, no, song meaning's this. And you're like, no, but that's not how I'm feeling. The song meaning is this,
That makes a lot of sense.
So with theories for movies, like even if that's not the right fucking theory and the producer's like, that's
we might be completely wrong with the theory right now.
Not the theory at all. I'm running with that and I fucking love it. Makes sense?
That makes absolute sense.
It makes sense.
Does it make sense?
Independent.
15K.
Way to go.
I'm dying to see the stats.
I hope it gets more and more exposure. And
go see it.
Yeah, I do know that if you guys are local in, if you live near Orange County, I think they're playing this movie on the Frida, I think in March 29th.
What was the date? Look it up.
I think it was March 29th. But I'm definitely going because I'll be in town for that. I think I should be back from.
Nice.
Would you go see the movie again?
What was that?
Are you one and done on this?
No, I'm going to go back and watch it. I'm 1,000% going to go back and watch it.
It did, like I've been thinking about this movie all day.
Yeah,
but you lights off it. I did lights off it.
It's not too late. It's not too late. We're still here.
Go back on it. I feel,
you're sticking to the script.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is on. Oh no, sorry, March 31st.
Are you okay?
March 31st.
That's what got Raul to laugh the hardest.
10 p.m. And actually,
Santa Ana, right?
Robbie Banfitch himself will actually be there doing a Q&A after the movie too as well. So I feel like that would be fun.
I might have to go to that and just ask straight up.
Raul,
I love the Frida.
Lights on or lights off?
Half lights.
I that's what I'm saying. Now
there's wiggle room.
You got to go back.
There's wiggle room with this movie.
There is some wiggle room. Anything else before we get out of here? Episode 22, Fright Night, Outwaters.
I gotta go pack.
You gotta go pack.
I gotta
out
go.
of here.
I gotta go fly out tonight. Do a red eye.
You gotta go make some
making some strange kids music.
I like it. I like.
Gonna be in the studio every single day with Josh Balls.
Good shit.
Gonna see some updates on Instagram. Gonna be seeing some updates on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely, for sure, for sure.
You should. You and Balls should leak a track early through here.
Oh, I'll definitely discuss that with Balls.
Awesome. Well, episode 22. Thank you so much. If you can, please like, subscribe. If you're on Apple and Spotify, leave a review. Leave a review on YouTube. Talk shit.
Share it too. Share it to everyone.
Share it to all your friends. I appreciate you all. I'm gonna take it out. Congrats to American Prophet. They won the contest that we announced too.
They crushed it.
We're gonna go out with Die Young, American Prophet.
I don't believe in anyone or anything anyway. Just let them fulfill your lungs. We die, we're forever young. I throw my pennies down a wishing well. Designer drugs inside of cheap motels. I tried to walk the righteous path and fell. Because there's nothing else besides death and sex that sells. Collect all the God, he knows something's wrong.
We love you all.
Love you.
Oh, we're still recording?
We're still recording.
We're still recording.
This is episode 23, Fright Night. You ready to do it? We're going to be reviewing the movie The Shining. You ready?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I can't wait.
We can't do The Shining yet.
I'm just playing.
That's like a staple.
We're out of here.
Here for something big?
We love y'all.
That's for something big.
Have a good one.
Bye.